Durant, the Durant Area Chamber of Commerce, and various other local partners. Working together, we hope to continue this trend while maintaining Durant's character and values.
Durant takes pride in serving as the headquarters of the Choctaw Nation, the third largest federally recognized tribe in the United States. The 5-story, 500,000 square foot facility is the flagship of an 80-acre campus devoted to serving the needs of tribe members. On the entertainment side, Choctaw Casino and Resort Durant includes southeastern Oklahoma's only AAA 4-diamond rated hotel, as well as a dozen restaurants, live entertainment, more than 4,000 slot machines, poker, and
off. and you're going to preside.
Okay, let's come to order for the library board. Roll call, Bradley Gernand here. Gloria Hodge is excused absence. Joe Littlejohn.
Here.
Carolyn Mabry. Marion Hill.
Here.
Here.
And Mike Morris. And to the public, we haven't been on TV before as televised, so this is a learning experience for us. So reading of the minutes of the last meeting from June 16, did any of you have any suggestions or changes? If no changes, I move approval of the minutes. Does anyone second?
I second.
Carolyn Carolyn seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Although it's not on the agenda because this is an unusual meeting, would it please the board to have us invite Robbie to join us in the extra chair? That way we can more approximate the conference time.
That's a good idea.
Wonderful idea.
This is the attorney's chair, so.
Act accordingly. Mike, do we have a report from the city?
No. If you have any questions, I'd try to answer them, but I don't have a presentation ready.
How about a Friends of the Library report?
Yes, I had several things I wanted to mention. First, on September the 7th, we had a FOL meeting and elected our slate of officers for the 21-22 year. I'd like to read those. President Brenda Monroe, Vice President Karen Jacob, Treasurer Angie Mullen, Secretary Jennifer Simpkins, Volunteer Coordinator Pat Sorrells. The next item was our book sale will be October 7th, 8th, and 9th, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Hope everyone will come. The next scheduled event after that, the next large event, is a craft show, December the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Robbie may have more to say about this, but on the Oklahoma Best Friends Award, I was very pleased to get my folio. This is Oklahoma Friends of the Library paper, and there is our president and Angie accepting an award. So this was really neat. So we're very proud of them. Did you see this, Robbie? Yeah, great.
Ashley Nunley is the one who put together a binder. Folio does a call out to all friends organizations to put together a binder to be at the statewide conference and saying what they've done, or they can highlight a specific project. And with the support of the Friends, the library was able to spend the summer and then the school year starting in the summer 2020 through April of 2021, do takeaway bags for kids. So, you know, I think over those months, hundreds and hundreds of bags of activities that went home to the kids who didn't have access to any other programming, whether they were staying at home or going to school but not able to attend any extracurricular. So that's what the award was for.
Yeah, a statewide award, Oklahoma Best Friends. Very proud of that. Okay. I'll let you look at it first. The last item is, I'm very sad about this. Robbie, did you hear that Fred Hallman died? Yes, yes, and I believe he died of COVID. Marilyn texted me today and said that he
He was just in the library a week or two ago. He's our fix-it man.
Yes.
We have a fix-it Fred list.
And, but Marilyn wrote a sweet note, and I will forward this to you,
Okay.
Robbie, because she wanted it sent out to the Friends of the Library group. But I'd just like to read what she wrote. She said, Carolyn, Fred died on Monday after virus battle. He came through it, but fatigued and worn out, he went to be with the Lord. Please share this information with the library people he so loved and cared about. And he did. He loved the library. He was a great volunteer. There's so many things in the library. He did a lot of work in the library, and tables.
Furniture and
Yeah.
repaired when we, at times the city was too backed up or understaffed and couldn't help. He would come in weekly and check his honeydew list
Yeah.
and fix things for us, so.
Yeah, there's just many things there that we'll be using for years to come. So that was a sad thing to hear, sad for all of us today. But I believe that completes my report.
Thank you.
So,
Report from the librarian or the attorney.
The attorney, yes, just call me Tom. Do I have to press this or can you hear me?
There's a switch over there in the right box.
Now you can hear me? I don't need a microphone, but I guess I'll sit back. We are finally fully staffed. We had the last of our Library Associate 1 and Community Center Manager start about 2 weeks ago. Hannah is the Community Center Manager. She's there Monday through Thursday, 10 to 6. She will also help with the Utility Billing Assistance Program, which I've been doing since May, helping people get help paying their water bill who have been affected by COVID. She's slowly starting to learn that, help manage the cafe area, and our events are starting to increase. We had a lunch meeting today. She helped set up for the ward meeting. Mike, that was the young lady with the blue hair.
Oh, okay.
That helped Monday. She's really good at being able to do crowd control in a nice, kind way and keep the cafe up. Our last Library Associate 1, Samuel McAtee, he's a recent grad from Southeastern. He's got a Spanish degree and history background. We're hoping his Spanish, he can at least converse when we need the help. We needed a sign language person a couple of Saturdays ago. So one of us has got to learn sign language because I think that comes up more than Spanish, honestly. So being able to be fully staffed, we kind of don't know what to do with ourselves. Children's programming started in August. They started with the baby lap set and the story time. And that hasn't had a lot of attendance, but that's to be expected given everything going on right now. But we rearranged in the story room, so if you come by, ask to take a tour of the story room. So we've got a teen corner on the southwest part of the story room, the baby lap sit corner opposite, tutoring corner where the tutors have a table they can work at, and then the after school and story time. So last week started the after school programming. And she had, I think, 4 kids for Legos last Tuesday, 3 or 4 teens for the lounge, and they played video games for a while and then some board games. And then for after school last Thursday, she had about 4, I think. Yesterday for Lego, she had 11 kids. And I think all of them were from summer reading, but they had never attended after school programming. So that's a really good number. That's a good number when it's not pandemic. So she'll have teen today, and then after school tomorrow, and then we'll see how story time and baby lap sit go on Friday. The baby lap sit is a brand new program, and it starts at 9:30 for babies and children less than 2 years old. And then story time is for 2 or 3 year olds up to school age kids. So we're trying to get back in the swing of things. We have postponed adult computer classes. I'm just not real comfortable sitting a bunch of adults in a room together right now. So we offer to do one-on-one sessions with people. We're all vaccinated, so I don't worry so much about everyone. And we have our mask, so if we have to go out onto the floor and interact with somebody, we put our mask on. We've had a few people come in. Jamie's been very busy with people taking high set. I think today she had 3 or 4, and the high set's the equivalent to the GED. So most days the computer lab is full. The Ardmore Adult Education Program relocated from the intermediate school to the library last fall to do GED classes. So there's a woman that does a morning and afternoon session until 4 o'clock on Mondays. Then Miss Vicky does GED classes Tuesday and Thursday evenings from like 4:15 to 7:30. And then Jamie gives high set tests on Wednesdays all day. So the lab is starting to see some use. The GED classes, it might have 2 or 3 people in it. The health literacy grant got started last week with fitness classes, but they're in the theater so that everybody's very spread out. Angie has agreed to be my guinea pig, so she goes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Yoga on Tuesdays at 6:30 and Zumba on Thursdays. And this is taught by Sarah Hallman, who's a certified instructor from the Nautilus. She did classes in 2019, 2020. They got cut short because we had to close down. So she was happy to come back. This week I scheduled self-defense classes with Amy Hervey Cook, which we've never had before. She'll do 2 Saturday classes in the next year and then do 4 Thursday evening classes when Sarah doesn't have Zumba going on. Miss Tommy from the OSU Extension Office will do some healthy cooking classes because we actually have cooking setups for 5 stations for people to come and cook. I'm hoping we'll do that in January, February, March, somewhere around in there. And then she's also got a diabetes education class. So we received the health literacy grant from the ODL for $4,000, and that'll cover programming. It'll also cover some insert material for the Very Hungry Reader, which is the drive-through meal program that's been going on since May 2020. They've extended that for us. It'll transition to a new format in October, and we'll have to have names and ages of kids, and then they'll have to have an educational material that goes with it. So the literacy grant will help with that, and the regional food bank will give material for that as well, but I found some of my own. And Friday I will submit for ARPA funding, the American Rescue Plan Act, second round of COVID pandemic-related funding. The money's already been distributed to the states, and then the State Department of Libraries will distribute to each of the libraries. We're eligible for a little over $20,000, and you know me, I love to spend money, so I've already got that spent. I met with Becca and Dana from the Grants Department at the city. They gave me input yesterday on a few things to add to my narrative. I consulted with Ashley, who used to be at the library, who is doing grants at Choctaw, because I knew she was seeing some ARPA funding coming through for some ideas. And then I met with my ODL consultant today, and she made sure all the vendors were approved through sam.gov and that there won't be any issues. These grants that come through the ODL, I don't know if you've ever written a grant or been privy to somebody writing a grant. It can be a long, drawn-out, complicated process. Yes. And the ODL makes it so much easier. And the government would just as soon give the money to the ODL and then let them distribute. This is the second round of funding. So my consultant, Melissa, suggested that I go over our allotted amount and ask for more. as most libraries won't use all the money. Some may not even apply at all, and like she said, the worst thing they can say is no. So there's a place throughout the grant, and when it gets approved, I don't know timing-wise if we can even meet with the council before we accept it. We'll try to, but the grant is due next Friday. I will be in Vegas next Friday, so I'm turning it in this Friday. And we're supposed to know in October. Don't tell. So the areas we're looking to spend grant money on, a big portion is for outdoor education equipment. We're in the process of having the engineering done for the land for the library park. And we have several outdoor spaces we can use. So an outdoor hand washing sink and sanitizing station, a cart to carry these cool wobble seats so the kids can sit outside on a plastic little seat and not have to sit on the ground, an outdoor educational cart to hold all the materials, some flat carts to put books and things on to take outside, some hand sanitizing wands to help sanitize probably the computer equipment. We shouldn't Lysol that down every day, all day, 365 days of the year. So they'll probably in the evenings swipe it with the handheld sanitizing wand. Some laptops, one for the outdoor education program so she can do things outside. Another laptop for a portable video conference unit. So Marion helped me struggle yesterday trying to get things set up for a Zoom for the Bryan County Federation of Democratic Women. They're meeting next week. Well, so most people when they do Zoom, the speaker, I would sit here and have the laptop in front of me and I would speak and everybody would be able to see and I could see my attendees. Well, this is a blended meeting, hybrid meeting. So we had to figure out the best way for the speaker to still be able to speak to the group of people as well as be just as visual with the laptop. And we played with things and got that to work out. Whereas if we get this grant, there are 2 permanent video conferencing systems. One will be set up in the meeting room, where we've got a laptop moved around, and one will be in the theater. Because I see more and more of these meetings being able to be Zoomed and possibly broadcast like we're doing over here today. And then there's a laptop for a portable video conference called an OWL that we'll be able to use in the conference room. So we've seen a pretty good increase in people working at the library when they can't go into work, and the cats and dogs and kids won't let them work from home. So on that note, we took a hint from the Southeastern Grant Department about trying to soundproof some of the rooms. There's a product called a SoundCloud, and it's an acoustical foam that's in a wave that's 2 foot by 4 foot that can be suspended from the ceiling. So we're gonna look to do those in the conference room, all 3 study rooms, quiet reading room, and computer lab. The computer labs have ODL grant funded webcams and microphones and headsets. So if people have to come up and need some privacy, they can go in the computer lab. So far, we've only had an angry parent having to talk to PlayStation about credit card charges from his kid on his video game. But we're gonna look to, I ordered on the list, there are 2 large movable acoustical panels. And they're from another company. They're separate from the SoundClouds. Those can be moved and placed to help create little sound pods. So for now, we'll look to soundproof the computer lab. At times it's difficult if she's in there giving a high set. If people are out in the cafe and they're talking, it could interrupt. Or heaven forbid there's a crying child, or if we have something that happens that's loud out there, it could cause trouble for the test. If things get too loud, she has to basically negate the test and the student has to forfeit that, and we don't want that to have to happen. So rather than try and mount those ugly foam squares on the glass, this is an 8 foot long, 6.5 foot tall panel that can be formed and moved, so if we needed it somewhere else, we could do that. So those are the main, oh, and based on our $20,000, whatever's left over after all that is ordered, we will spend on PPE. So mask, hand sanitizer, Lysol spray, and sanitizing wipes. In my overage wish list, I'm asking for an outdoor portable PA system, an outdoor permanent hand sanitizing station with sanitizer refills, and a portable kids sand play table that they could take outside for the outdoor classroom. So that's consumed a lot of our time, try to get everybody's input, except for Creston. And I think we've done a good job. They said we were being very responsible and creative. She asked if I minded sharing what we wrote for, so if other people were looking for some ideas. So that always makes me feel better when I get the thumbs up before we're even done. So, training people, trying to do some form of programming, and focusing on the health literacy, book sale, and holiday craft sale. Do you have any questions?
Robbie, for the benefit of the public, how about if you spell out the acronym ODL?
Oklahoma Department of Libraries. So they're our boss. They're the ones who help with everything from guidance to enforcing rules to training. They are the end-all and be-all for libraries, and every state has one. And so they do a lot of filtering for us. So when we apply for a grant, 99 times out of 100, we're just asking the ODL. They're the ones that have done the difficult work of writing the dozens of pages and confusing federal lingo and asking and giving statistics and data and all that. So by the time it gets to us, all we have to say is what we want, how much it costs, and what we're going to use it for. Every library has a consultant, and so consultants typically have about 6 to 8 or more libraries that they help. So Melissa helps when it's time to file for E-rate funding, for my state aid report. They're the ones that pay for the website, which is up on the screen. They pay to host that through WordPress, and she's done training with me. She knows to let me fumble around with it, and then once a week she would call in and talk me off the ledge, and we would fix whatever I broke. And so they are a resource that if you're a library in your state and you don't use your state library, you're not being a smart librarian. They are invaluable.
Thanks. And why don't you mention the staff vaccination rate? That was pretty amazing.
100%. We have 11 employees. And the city has a vaccine incentive. Most of us, and that incentive I think got sent out in the summer, June, July. Most of us were already vaccinated by April. And even the staff member that left was fully vaccinated before she left, so.
Pretty amazing.
Yes.
And old business.
Brad.
Brand fees. For, yes, sir.
Before we do that, I do have a comment or two on the city, if you don't mind me making
Please.
it. First of all, I'm very glad to be on this board working with you guys, Robbie. I really enjoy that. Wanted to let you know our current city manager has been on board just over 2 years, and I personally believe he's fantastic. He's doing a great job. Wonderful things are happening, and he and other administrative employees and the council were very sympathetic to the library and very easy to talk to these days. So, you know, we're striving to be a good resource and a partner with the library. So keep that in mind, and don't be afraid to ask if you want to know what's going on or how we can help, because we really want to. So I consider us an ally, not an adversary. So that's my 2 cents for today.
We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, Mike.
You bet.
Waiving late fees for children's materials. This is an item carried over from last time.
I did some research, and municipal libraries have chosen not to do this for funding reasoning, one of the many reasons. I also spoke with the city manager, mayor, and Mr. Morris and Mr. Miller from the city council about some of the possible repercussions of waiving fines, and that, I think Carolyn and Dr. Littlejohn brought it up last time. There's no incentive for people to bring items back ever, much less on time, if there's not some consequence. So we were asked why we couldn't show some grace, and we do. Fines for books are only 10 cents a day, and your average public doesn't know it caps out at $5. So you can keep a book for 20 years and you're gonna owe $5. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud, but fines for movies are 25 cents a day. The more expensive items are $1 a day, and they cap out at $10 just because it's easier to replace a child's book than it is a PlayStation 5 video game or one of the expensive launch tablets. The grace you get is there are multiple ways you can reach out to the library. We have a phone you can call. I tell people if you don't want to talk to us at the front desk, then call on Sunday, leave a message, and we can renew your item. There's drop boxes on the outside that are open 24/7, 365. And if your item is in there before 9 a.m. the next day, you get credit for that day. So if your item was turned in Wednesday night at 10 o'clock, it will get checked in as Wednesday, even though we've already closed. So everything that gets checked in on Monday morning gets checked in on the date of Saturday. We've also had people reach out via email. We have a new email. We're getting new brochures done up for that, but it's all on the website. And we've had people reach out via Facebook to renew items. And you can renew one time over those different ways as long as there's something that isn't on hold. So if you have something that's a new fiction book that everybody wants to read, you may be told no, that you can't renew it and you have to bring it back. After the one, because you get your book for 3 weeks, and we understand that sometimes things happen, and so you can have up to 6 weeks before you have to bring the item in. And we have some people, maybe they need it for a class, and that's just not enough. They can bring the item in, check it in, and check it back out, so they have another 6 weeks with it. So, and in talking to all the administrators, it just doesn't seem to be feasible, and that's what would be recommended if there was a change to be recommended to the city council. And we just don't feel like it's necessary at this time or would be beneficial to the library. That's not a good word, but wouldn't be wise. And that's some of the discussion we had last time.
Mike, as the council rep, do you have any questions about that?
No, but I have a statement. City council does not want to make decisions for you at that level. You know, we are not enforcers. We hire people like Robbie to run the place. If she wanted them to change or be dropped, we would probably have to okay it just out of general state statutes, and I'm not even sure about that, but we're not going to come along and say, hey, drop the fines or raise the fines. Or that's really not our charge. So we want to be your partner, like I said, but we don't want to try to butt in and take over or anything.
But being a municipal library, the only funds we receive are funds that come from the city. We do not get your county house money, as somebody put it. So your house taxes, that all goes to the county. So the money we get is budgeted from the city, and that comes from monies that are spent on businesses and services inside the Durant city limits. That is how municipalities are funded. Good or bad, and Mike will tell you sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. It's a very...
Obviously, we don't get enough.
Yes,
You know,
correct.
Our sales tax doesn't even cover the overhead for salaries and HR benefits. we live off of the water revenue, basically. That's how we buy the dump trucks.
So any opportunity we can take to give back to the city funds, I've not been at other libraries, but I've been to meetings and listened to other libraries, and we are very fortunate. We have an ample staffing plan. We have a beautiful $8 million facility. We have the support of the city and whatever we need. We have a building and a maintenance fund. We had a generous grant or endowment a couple of years ago so we can build this park. We are fortunate on so many different levels, and with the Pendleton Trust, when the heir that has some funds right now, when she passes away, we get oil and gas royalties, which are anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 a year. We're going to be the only library in Oklahoma that will be self-sufficient in there. You know, we don't ever have to bother the city about capital improvements. You know, we should be able to help take care of ourselves. So with that being said, for municipal libraries, you can't afford to not give back to the pot. You can't.
Mike, some additional background info. The idea of waiving or eliminating fees for overdue materials, that's a fairly new concept, and it's still unproven, and so that's why Robbie is interested in keeping the current course, because currently we don't have enough information about how that policy affects libraries. I chaired the library board for the city of Falls Church, Virginia for 21 years, and I was on the board for 26 years until just 2 years ago, and we looked into it repeatedly. That library just last month eliminated fees, but only because they have a print book budget of about $160K a year. And so they decided, yes, they had enough money to be able to replace books and other things that don't come back. The problem is, we think one unintended possibility is that it may increase the number of materials that don't get returned or are overdue. And so that's why we're choosing,
Yes.
at least until we know more.
You know, I personally believe, you know, as far as fines go, all you have to do is follow the rules, which are very simple. If you have a child, I have a child with Down syndrome. There's no way in the world he can manage handling checking it out in fees. And as his parent, I feel that's my responsibility. If I want him to have something about it, I better make sure the rules are followed, and I do. You know, and so I'm not overly sympathetic for no fines or no fees. I really think it has other benefits. It teaches responsibility, you know, and accountability. I'm not in favor of dropping fines or overdue fees personally.
It
But if y'all are, more power to you if the board is, but personally, I don't really think that's a good idea.
I was just going to make a comment. It seems to me that it would be good for children to realize that they're accountable for getting books back so that others can use them.
Right.
And having to pay a small fine, I think, is just a reminder of that. So I think we should keep the fine.
I agree with you on that.
Carolyn, are you in agreement?
Yes, I think, I just feel very firmly that people need to be responsible for their actions. And I feel like if we take away the fines, I mean, of course we need the money, but, you know, but even not looking at that, if you take away the fines, to me, that's just saying, okay, you know, we don't have to return these books, just, you know, throw them in the closet or something. But,
Just get it and run.
So, but yes,
Well, you're opening, to me, a larger door for larger problems if you allow something like that.
yeah.
Just my 2 cents again.
And we also have once a year, the library board approved when Dottie was still here, so I think 2014, a program called Food for Fines. So around the holidays, so we usually do it the month of November, you can bring in canned food items, and every canned food item or other item that's, we've had to make a specific list because nobody wants your boiled peanuts. So, but there's a good number of things you can choose from. We try and even look in the sale papers to tell you where to go to get your best deal. But each canned or, you know, gravy mix, they will knock off $2 on your fines. There have been people who have had life-changing events that were out of their hands. Their house burned and the books were destroyed. They didn't have homeowners insurance. Set up a payment plan. As long as somebody is willing to take responsibility, and they could pay, $2 a checkout on a $50 fine, we try and make it be reasonable but enough. We've done that numerous times. You're gonna be hard pressed to find somebody that will tell you that they came in and asked for help and we gave them no possible way to get help.
Yeah.
If you've lost an item or damaged an item, we tell you, hey, this movie at the time cost us $30. I saw it at the $5 bin at Walmart. You can go to Walmart and buy it for $5 and I'll waive the processing fees. The child turns 18 and they realize they had lost a Dr. Seuss book back when they were, 6 or 8 years old. Find that book, find it in decent condition and bring it in. And bottom line, I tell people, John doesn't need to hear this, I don't want your money. I want my stuff back, because other people want to read those books. They want to watch those movies. They want to play with that launch pad or play that video game. You have some people who rely on us for those things because they can't afford cable or they don't have internet. They can't, stream these TV shows, or they can't afford to go to Barnes & Noble and buy books. That's what libraries are here for. But all libraries have to have rules, and just like any other place, you have to follow the rules or pay the consequences.
So since we have consensus that we don't choose to make any changes to policy, my interpretation of that is we don't need to take a vote since nothing's changing. Would that be agreeable to you?
I think that having that outreach that we will help you figure out how to pay for this is a good companion to the fee. I like that pair.
How about new business?
I don't have anything new right now. I've told you about the grant. I figure if you had any needs or anything you saw that you think the library should address, you'd let me know. Being fully staffed, I hope we can go forward and be able to help more in the community. Having the homeless shelter open 2 days a week, and then the church across the street feeding people every Saturday, that has really helped take the burden off people in the community who were looking for ways to help people. So that's been great. We have a good working relationship with Michelle Chester over at the Mission. So if we have people that need help, we have more avenues now than we did a year ago to get people help.
Oh, the homeless shelter is open?
She's been open temporarily, limited hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays, probably, oh my goodness, maybe last fall.
Oh, I had lost contact with Michelle.
Yeah, she got everything she needed. Maybe it was in the spring.
It took a long time, but it's a lot of work.
2020 is just kind of I frequently have to ask what day it is. So she's been going for quite a while.
Yeah,
and she's got
way back before 2020.
She's got good support, and she can help pick up people, but she's of the same mindset that we are, that we're here to help you get where you need to be,
Yeah,
not prolong the state of homelessness or helplessness.
It's a pathway.
Yes, so it's a help up, not a handout, and I think she's had some success, and that benefits the whole community.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
I don't have any other new business.
That's actually a good segue. Carolyn and I could brief you quickly on Meals on Wheels, since that, like the library, it plays an important role in community nutrition. It had a recent unhappy event take place, and that was the cost of the meals that we prepare and give out. Our recipients paid, until July, they were paying $2.10 per meal per lunch. And we got notice with 3 weeks notice before it took effect that the meals are going to go up in price from $2.10 to something like $7.40 per lunch.
My goodness.
Yes.
And so that was a huge issue, but very great people stepped in, and the hospital volunteered.
I would have if I could have.
The hospital volunteered to assume the responsibility for providing us those lunches. And so what we do is we run to the hospital every day
Oh, really?
and pick up the lunches. They had the excess, they were able to build in the excess capacity to serve the lunches we need. But that's what Carolyn and I would mention to you is we've noted, we're sort of concerned. Before the pandemic began, we were feeding, if I remember right, 36 households, and that required 5 different delivery routes. So it was quite an operation. We don't understand what happened during the pandemic. It may not be related to the pandemic, but we then got down to just 16 recipients as of a couple of months ago. And that was just sort of unheard of, and we don't really know why. But we feel like there must be unmet needs in the community. And so if any of you know of anyone, definitely Meals on Wheels would want to serve them. So it'd be great if you could help pass word in your churches or what have you.
Well,
And-
this right here is the guy to talk to,
Yeah.
so.
Sounds great. And also, I think, if I've got the price right, the hospital was a lot cheaper than the new price that we'd gotten, and so I think it's $5. It ranges in the cost of milk, but $5.10 to $5.25 or $5.85.
But it's not $7, that's for
Definitely, it's
sure.
not.
I have a senior citizen center update. It has been tentatively scheduled to open on October 22nd. So obviously it's behind schedule, but the construction guys think they're going to be out of there by then. So that's, not sure what it has to do with the library, but on the Meals on Wheels deal, it's a good thing. That's the scheduled date, you know.
Schedules never slip.
About a year ago, that was the date too. Hopefully, things are really finishing up. So,
And Mike over there, the other Mike is gonna need a stiff drink when everything's done, because it has just been one challenge after the other over there. It's gonna be a beautiful facility, but it's been a long haul getting there. And I know we'd had a couple of seniors who were hanging out at the library who, once they realized they could go over there, were heading over there, which was good. A more appropriate environment, you know.
It's a nice environment.
Yes.
They have a nice time.
Yes.
Any other business? I move we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.
Switch your switches off.